I want you to picture a scenario. And I want you to, really put yourself there. Because I have a feeling this is going to resonate with a lot of people. You're in a meeting. Okay? Maybe it's a high-stakes boardroom situation, or maybe it's just a casual brainstorming session.
Or even lower stakes, a dinner party.
At that dinner party, perfect. The conversation is flowing, people are laughing, they're sharing stories, and then suddenly you have an idea.
And it's the perfect contribution. You know exactly, precisely what you want to add to the conversation.
Right. The idea is crystal clear in your mind. You can see the concept. You might even hear the sentence perfectly formed. But it's in your native language.
There's the catch.
There it is. So you take a breath, you open your mouth to speak, and then nothing.
The freeze.
Silence. Complete and total system failure. It's like your brain just slammed into a brick wall at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And in that split second of silence, you feel it, don't you?
Yeah.
You feel the heat rising in your cheeks. You see the person you're talking to maybe tilt their head slightly, and they're waiting.
That polite, patient, just soul-crushing waiting.
Yes.
It is a visceral, physical sensation. It's not just a mental block.
Yeah.
It's that tip of the tongue phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's like it's been weaponized because it's happening in a second language under pressure.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, by the time you finally wrestle the sentence out of your mouth and it comes out haltingly, awkwardly, the moment is just gone.
It's past. The joke is over. The topic is completely changed.
Exactly.
That feeling, that specific deep frustration is exactly what we're digging into today, because it is, I think, the universal nightmare of language learning.
It really is. It's that feeling of being trapped inside your own head.
Right.
And it's so deceptive, isn't it? Because the person who's freezing in that moment, they're usually not a beginner.
No, not at all.
They know the words, they've studied the grammar, they just can't. They can't access them in real time.
Exactly. And that brings us to our source material for this deep dive. We have been listening to hours and hours of the English Upgrade podcast, and it's hosted by Ryan Carter and Mary Walker. And let me tell you, these two are not your typical, repeat after me language teachers. They're different.
No, they approach this problem almost like software engineers. They don't look at the freeze as some kind of character flaw or a lack of intelligence. To them, it's a processing error. It's a glitch in your mental operating system.
A glitch in the OS? I love that. Their whole philosophy is about upgrading how your brain processes English. They have this motto that really, really stuck with me.
What's that?
Speak with power. Be understood everywhere.
It's a bold promise.
It is.
But what I appreciate about their approach is that they strip away all the mysticism from language learning. They basically argue that if you're freezing, it's not because you aren't smart enough. It is because you are running a faulty workflow.
A faulty workflow. And that is the mission for today. We are going to dismantle that faulty workflow. We're going to figure out why we translate in our heads, why it absolutely destroys our fluency.
And most importantly,
we are going to walk through the specific toolkit that Ryan and Mary provide to fix it. We're talking about stopping the translation and actually starting to think in English.
which I know that sounds so intimidating. Think in English is the kind of advice everyone gives, but nobody ever explains how you're supposed to do it.
Exactly. No one gives you the manual. Today, we're going to break down the how.
Okay, let's get into it.
So let's start with the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Before we can fix the bug, we have to find it in the code, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the sources, they identify this massive disconnect that I think plagues almost every intermediate learner. It's the gap between input and output.
This is the classic passive versus active gap. And it is arguably the most discouraging part of the entire learning curve.
Why do you say that?
Well, because most listeners, you gauge your progress by what you can understand.
Right. Of course. You watch a movie on Netflix, maybe without the subtitles, or you listen to a podcast like this one, or you read a business article, and you think, hey, I understood like 90% that. I'm doing great. I'm practically fluent.
Your receiver is working perfectly. The input mechanism is high fidelity. Your brain is fantastic at recognizing patterns it hears.
Okay.
But then you try to transmit. You try to become the speaker, the producer, and suddenly that 90% proficiency just plummets. It drops to what, 30%?
If you're lucky, I mean, it feels like 10% in the moment.
Right. And Ryan and Mary, they use this really simple, almost innocuous example to prove this point. They talk about the phrase, "Can I help you?"
Okay, which is, let's be honest, that's day one English. If I walk into a store anywhere in the world and the clerk says, "Can I help you?" I don't need to pull out a dictionary.
Yep.
I don't need to translate it. The sound hits my eardrum and I instantly know the meaning. It's automatic.
But now, flip the script. Imagine you are the one in the high-pressure situation. Let's say you're at an airport. You see someone struggling with a really heavy suitcase on the stairs. They look distressed.
Okay.
You want to be a good person. You want to intervene. In that split second, your brain has to produce the language.
And this is where the panic sets in.
Right. Because you aren't just recalling a phrase anymore. You are constructing a social interaction from scratch, and suddenly, all the options flood your brain.
You're thinking.
You're thinking, is it, can I help? Or do I help?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is may I assist too formal? It sounds weird. Should I say, do you need a hand?
And while you are internally debating the nuance of may versus can and running this mental thesaurus for the word help, the person has already dropped their suitcase down the stairs, or someone else has already stepped in to help them.
Precisely. The moment creates a latency, a delay, and that hesitation is the entire difference between passive recognition and active construction.
Okay, explain that more. Recognition versus construction.
Recognition is easy. Your brain just has to match a sound it hears to a memory file it already has stored. Construction is hard. Your brain has to build a bridge from an idea to spoken words from scratch every single time.
So why is the construction part so slow? Why is that bridge so hard to build?
This is where Ryan and Mary argue it's because of a very specific workflow that we've adopted. They call it the translation trap.
This is the core technical issue. We really have to look at the mechanics of what is happening inside your brain during that agonizing silence. It's an efficiency nightmare.
Let's break this down then step by step, because I think a lot of listeners, and honestly myself included when I was learning a second language, you don't even realize you're doing this until someone points it out.
Okay, so let's look at what they call the learner's workflow, or maybe we can call it the translation workflow. Step one is universal. You have an idea, a concept, I want to ask for the bill, or I agree with that point.
Okay, that's the easy part, the initial spark. Step 2. You form the sentence in your native language. Your brain defaults to its mother tongue operating system. It's comfortable.
Of course.
You hear the sentence in Spanish or French or Japanese or German, perfectly articulated inside your head. You perfect it there first.
It's comfortable, it's safe, it's 100% accurate.
But this is where the disaster starts. Step 3. You take that mental text in your native language and you begin the process of translating it into English.
And it's usually not a conceptual translation, is it?
No, that's the key. It's word for word, or maybe chunk by chunk. You are essentially acting as a simultaneous interpreter for yourself.
But you're not a trained interpreter. I mean, that's a whole other skill set.
Exactly. So you immediately hit roadblocks. You realize the word order is completely different. You realize there's no direct translation for a specific idiom you wanted to use. So you pause.
And that pause leads right into step 4.
The internal editor, the grammar police. You start running a mental spell check on your own sentence before you've even said it.
Oh, this is so familiar.
You're thinking, wait, is it in Monday or on Monday? Is this past perfect or simple past? Oh my God, did I use the right preposition? You're analyzing the code before you even ship it.
And meanwhile, on the outside, what's happening? You're just staring blankly at the other person. Your eyes might be darting around. You look confused or lost.
And then finally, step 5, you speak. But by then, the energy is gone, the timing is completely off, and you are mentally exhausted. That is a 5-step process for every single sentence you produce.
That is way too many steps. It is exhausting just hearing you describe it.
It is. Now, compare that to a fluent speaker. Their workflow is 2 steps.
Just two.
Just 2. Step 1, have an idea. Step 2, speak.
Idea, then speak. That's it.
That's it. There is no middleman. There is no internal interpreter sitting at a little desk in your brain shuffling papers around. The connection is direct. And what Ryan and Mary are arguing really is that the freeze isn't a lack of vocabulary. It is the processing lag caused by those 3 extra unnecessary steps.
They use this analogy that I just absolutely loved. They compare translating in your head to running while texting.
It is a perfect visual, isn't it? Think about it. Can you physically run while you're texting?
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Physically, you can move your legs and move your thumbs at the same time. I've seen people try it. It usually ends poorly.
Exactly. What happens to your running? You immediately slow down to a clumsy jog. You start to stumble. Your form completely falls apart. You don't see obstacles coming. You are definitely not winning any races.
And what about the text message you're trying to write?
It's a mess. It's probably full of typos. It's incoherent because your brain is splitting its resources between two complex tasks.
It's cognitive overload.
Massive overload. In cognitive psychology, we talk about something called channel capacity. Your brain only has so much bandwidth at any given moment.
Okay.
So if you are using, say, 60% of your mental bandwidth to run the translation software in your head and another 20% to run the grammar checking software,
Then you only have 20% left.
you only have 20% left to actually communicate, to read social cues from the other person, to listen to what they're saying, to make eye contact.
So the freeze is basically your brain crashing because you have too many tabs open.
Perfectly put. It is a RAM issue. Your brain's RAM is maxed out. And the sources, they list the symptoms of this overload very clearly. It's not just about silence.
What else is there?
It manifests as a really slow speech rate. It manifests as those excessive, awkward pauses while you're searching for the bridge between the two languages.
And forgetting simple words.
Yeah.
That is the one that drives me crazy. You know the word. You used the word yesterday. But because your brain is so busy translating, it literally can't access the file.
That's a classic example of access failure. The CTU is at 100% usage, so it can't open the folder labeled vocabulary. It's locked out.
And there's an emotional cost to this too. The sources talk a lot about post-conversation exhaustion. You finish a 5-minute chat in English and you feel like you just took a 3-hour calculus exam.
That mental fatigue is real. It is physically draining to run 2 operating systems at once. And ultimately, what does that lead to?
Loss of confidence.
The loss of confidence. If every single conversation feels like a struggle, you stop wanting to have conversations. You retreat. You become the quiet one in the corner at the meeting.
So we've diagnosed the problem. We are running while texting. We're translating instead of thinking. But why do we do this?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to be slow and awkward.
No.
The sources identify what they call the top 5 blockers, the main reasons why people understand English perfectly but can't speak it fluently.
Let's go through them because I think recognizing which one of these is holding you back is the first real step to fixing it.
Okay, number 1 on their list is a big one. The fear of mistakes.
This is psychological paralysis. So many learners have this deep-seated belief that they cannot open their mouth until the sentence that comes out is absolutely perfect.
It feels like trauma from school, honestly. Like you'll get a red mark from the teacher if you use the wrong verb tense.
Yes. You treat conversation like it's a written exam where every error is being tallied against you.
But Ryan and Mary have a counter-argument to this, and it's a powerful one. They say fluency comes before perfection.
That is such a critical mental shift.
It's huge.
You cannot perfect a sentence that you never speak. You have to be willing to be messy and make mistakes in order to become fluent. The fear of being wrong just keeps you silent, and silence teaches you absolutely nothing.
Okay, blocker number 2 is what we've been discussing this whole time. Thinking in your native language, that's the core technical issue.
Right. That's the habit that has to be broken. It feels like a comfort blanket, but it's actually suffocating your progress.
Blocker number 3, limited speaking practice. Now this seems obvious, but the sources make a really interesting nuance here. They say a lot of people think listening is practice.
And that is the input fallacy. People think, well, I listen to English podcasts for 2 hours every day. Why can't I speak? Well, it's because listening uses a completely different set of muscles in the brain. Listening is recognition. Speaking is production. You cannot learn to play the piano just by listening to Mozart.
I love that.
You have to actually put your fingers on the keys.
You can't learn to play piano by watching a concert. Okay. Blocker number 4, the comparison trap.
Oh, this one is deadly. Comparing your beginning to someone else's middle.
What do you mean by that?
You look at a native speaker or maybe a non-native colleague who has been living in the US for 20 years and you beat yourself up because you're not that good yet.
It's so unfair to yourself.
It creates completely unrealistic expectations. Native speakers have had literally decades of 24/7 immersion. You cannot compare your day 1 or even your day 100 to their day 10,000. It's just not a fair fight.
And finally, number 5, vocabulary hesitation, which is knowing the word but lacking the speed to recall it.
And this goes right back to the processing issue we talked about. It's all about accessibility. If the word you need is buried under a layer of translation and grammar checking, it takes way too long to dig it out.
Okay, so those are the blockers.
Yeah.
We know the problem is translation. We know the result is freezing. Now I want to get to the good stuff, the upgrades. The toolkit.
The tactical solutions.
Yes, because Ryan and Mary don't just leave us with the diagnosis, they provide a whole toolkit. And what I really like is that these aren't abstract concepts. These are things you can start doing right now, today, sitting in your car or walking your dog.
Let's start with the first technique, which is really a mindset shift that then leads to a tactical change. They call it think small.
Think small. It sounds counterintuitive. I mean, usually we're told to expand our vocabulary, use big words, sound sophisticated, especially in the business context.
And that is exactly why we freeze. When you try to construct a long, complex, compound sentence with multiple clauses and perfect grammar in a second language,
Right.
you are setting yourself up for a system crash. The cognitive load is just too high.
So explain think small. What does that look like in practice?
The source advises, and this is a direct quote, simple thinking creates fluent speaking. Stop trying to be a poet. Stop trying to sound like a textbook. The primary goal is just communication.
Okay, so let's play this out. Let's say I need to reschedule a meeting with a client. If I'm translating in my head, trying to be all fancy and professional, what does that sound like?
Well, you might think something in your native language that translates to, I would like to extend my sincerest apologies, but due to some unforeseen circumstances regarding the project delays, it would be preferable if we could perhaps move our appointment to a subsequent date.
Wow. Okay, even in English, that's a mouthful. And trying to translate unforeseen circumstances and subsequent date on the fly? Impossible. Forget it.
You will freeze, you will stutter, you will get lost. So now apply the Think Small upgrade. Strip that sentence down. What is the absolute core message you need to convey?
I can't meet now, let's meet later.
Exactly. So what do you say?
Can we meet later? The project is delayed.
Boom. Done. 2 short, simple sentences.
Right.
Fluent speakers are not necessarily smarter, they are more efficient. They value being understood over being complex. And by stripping away all that unnecessary complexity, you remove the need to translate. You can access those simple English blocks directly from your brain.
It's about momentum, too. If you can say 3 short sentences fast, you sound fluent. If you try to say 1 really long sentence and you pause for 10 seconds in the middle, you sound like a beginner.
Precisely. Speed creates the perception of fluency, and simplicity creates speed.
All right, technique number 2. This is one of my favorites because it is so incredibly actionable. It's called narrating your existence.
This is brilliant because it forces you to bypass the translation step entirely by connecting visual cues directly to English words.
Okay, so how does it work?
You literally walk around your life and you describe what you're doing, what you were seeing, or what you were touching. But, and this is the most important part, you have to do it out loud and you do it in the moment.
So, for example, I'm in my kitchen right now.
Right, so you say out loud, I am making coffee, I am opening the fridge, I am looking for the milk.
I am checking my emails.
Yes.
I am walking to the bus stop.
Exactly. Now, why does this work? Because usually the trigger for your speech is a thought that you have in your native language. Native language for I want some coffee, and then you translate that thought. When you narrate your existence, the trigger is the action itself or the object. You see the coffee pot and you train your brain to fire the English pathway directly. I am making coffee.
You're cutting out the middleman again. You're creating a direct wire from your visual reality to your English vocabulary.
And just as importantly, you are normalizing the sound of your own voice speaking English. A lot of the freeze is just the shock and the strangeness of hearing yourself speak a foreign language.
That's a great point.
If you do this all day long, narrating your walk, your cooking, your work, speaking English becomes mundane. It just becomes normal.
And the sources emphasize starting with short sentences here too. You don't have to narrate a whole novel about making coffee.
Right.
Just, I am walking. The sky is blue.
It is about quantity and frequency. The more roughs you get, the more automatic that pathway becomes.
Okay, moving on to technique number 3. This is a classic, but Ryan and Mary give it a specific name. Shadowing.
Shadowing is essentially mimicry. It's the closest thing we have to a cheat code for getting the pronunciation and the rhythm of a language right.
So explain the process for our listeners. How is this different from just repeating after a teacher in a classroom?
In a classroom, the teacher speaks, then they pause, and then you repeat. You have time to think, to analyze. In shadowing, you listen to a native speaker, maybe a podcast host or a character in a movie, and you repeat what they're saying immediately.
So not after they finish the sentence.
Not even close. You are almost talking over them. You are their shadow, following just a split second behind what they're saying.
So you're not analyzing the grammar of the sentence.
No, and that is the entire point. You are matching their rhythm, their stress, their intonation, the music of the language. You are completely bypassing the analytical grammar checking part of your brain and using the musical imitative part instead.
It's building muscle memory for your mouth.
Exactly. Your mouth learns how the words and phrases feel before your brain has time to worry about whether you use the correct tense. It helps you flow. It teaches you the music of English, which is often just as important as the vocabulary.
All right, technique number 4. This is the one everyone hates, but everyone needs to do.
Recording and accountability.
Ugh, nobody likes the sound of their own voice. I do this for a living, and I still cringe sometimes when I hear a recording of myself.
It is uncomfortable, I get it, but the sources are absolutely adamant about this. You need to record yourself speaking.
Why is this so important? What's the benefit?
Because when we are speaking, we are subjective. We think we sound one way. We think we are being clear. When we listen to a recording, we become objective.
You're an outside observer.
Exactly. You can actually hear, oh, wow, I paused for a really long time there, or I didn't pronounce that R sound very clearly. It gives you real, actionable data.
And Ryan and Mary suggest a 2 minutes a day rule for this.
Yes. Frequency over duration. You don't need to record an hour-long speech. Just record yourself narrating your day like we just talked about for 2 minutes, and then track your progress.
Okay.
If you do that for 30 days, the difference you'll hear between your day 1 recording and your day 30 recording will be undeniable.
And that's the motivation right there, isn't it? Actually seeing and hearing the progress.
It's evidence, and evidence kills fear.
Now, I want to move into the more interactive part of this. The sources actually provide a little micro exercise to help shift the mindset we've been talking about. They give us some affirmations. And I think we should actually do this. I want you, the listener, to try this right now.
Let's do it. And these aren't just, feel-good quotes. They are designed to be reprogramming instructions for your brain. We need to overwrite that negative script that's always running, the one that says, I can't, with a new script that says, I am.
Okay, so wherever you are, unless you're on a crowded train and you feel shy, maybe just whisper it. But if you can, say these out loud. Really try to feel them. Repeat after me. I think in English easily.
I think in English easily.
My English is improving every day.
My English is improving every day.
I speak naturally and confidently.
I speak naturally and confidently.
It feels a little silly at first, doesn't it? To say something when you might not totally feel that it's true yet.
It might. But think about the alternative script that's usually running in your head. Most learners are walking around thinking, my English is so bad, I hope they don't ask me a question. I'm definitely going to make a mistake.
That's a negative feedback loop.
Exactly. You are constantly affirming your own failure before you even start. These positive affirmations are designed to disrupt that destructive pattern. And there's a specific question the sources ask us to change as well.
Yes. This was a huge aha moment for me. Instead of asking, how do I translate this really complex thought I'm having?
Yeah.
We need to change the fundamental question.
Ask yourself, what is the simplest way to say this?
That brings us right back to efficiency, doesn't it?
It shifts the entire goal. The goal is no longer to impress. The goal becomes to communicate. It takes all the pressure off.
This all leads to a much bigger idea, which is redefining what fluency actually means. I think a lot of us have this definition of fluency as, knowing every word in the dictionary and never making a single grammatical error.
Which is a standard that even native speakers don't meet. We stumble over our words. We use the wrong word. We restart sentences all the time.
So true. I make grammar mistakes in English constantly, and it's my only language.
Ryan and Mary offer a much more practical and achievable definition. Fluency is not about knowing the most words. It is about hesitating less.
That is profound. Fluency is the absence of hesitation.
Think about it. If you know 500 words, but you can use them instantly, without translating, without pausing, you will appear fluent. If you know 5,000 words, but you have to search for each one for 5 seconds every time you speak, you will appear like a beginner.
It's all about access speed.
Confidence comes from speed, not from perfection.
They use a metaphor of a muscle for this, right?
Yes, fluency is a muscle. And just like any muscle in your body, it requires reps. This is why they emphasize consistency over intensity. One long 6-hour study session on a Sunday is not nearly as effective as narrating your life for 5 minutes every single day.
You can't go to the gym once a month for 10 hours and expect to get ripped.
Exactly. You need the daily reps to build and strengthen those neural pathways. You need to keep the path clear between your idea and your mouth.
So let's bring this all together. We have covered a lot of ground here. We started with the freeze, that horrible moment of paralysis.
Which we now know is caused by the translation trap. The total inefficiency of that 5-step workflow versus the fluent 2-step workflow.
We looked at the symptoms, the slow speech, the mental fatigue, the loss of confidence, and we identified the 5 big blockers, especially that fear of making mistakes and the habit of thinking in our native language.
And then we gave the solutions. Think small. Simplification is the key to speed. Narrate your existence to connect your eyes directly to your mouth. Shattering to copy the music of the language. And recording to face the reality so you can improve it.
And the ultimate goal here, as the source motto says, is to speak with power, be understood everywhere.
And I want to emphasize that last part, be understood. That is the metric, not be perfect, just be understood.
I'll leave our listeners with a final thought that came up when I was reviewing all this material. It's about identity.
Go on. This
Yeah.
is probably the deepest part of language learning.
When you stop translating, you stop filtering your personality through a second awkward layer. A lot of people feel like they have a native personality, which is funny and smart and witty, and then they have an English personality, which is shy and simple and a bit slow.
That's an incredibly common feeling. It feels like you're wearing a mask that just doesn't quite fit your face.
So if you apply these techniques, if you really commit and start thinking directly in English, you begin to bridge that gap. You aren't just learning to speak English, you're learning to be yourself in English.
That's a powerful takeaway. When you remove that translation delay, you remove the barrier between your true self and the rest of the world. You allow your actual personality to come through in real time.
So the question I want to leave you with is this. Are you ready to meet the English-speaking version of yourself? The one who is confident, efficient, and doesn't hesitate.
That version of you is waiting. But you have to do the reps.
So here is your assignment, straight from Ryan and Mary. Immediately after you finish listening to this deep dive, do not just go to the next podcast in your queue. Do not check your emails. Take the headphones off. Look around the room you are
And
in.
narrate what you see out loud. I am taking off my headphones. I am standing up from my chair. I am opening the door.
Start the habit right now. Break the translation loop.
Speak with power.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.